They called her many things. Some were yelled at her back, and others to her face. They called her many things, but none were pretty. I hate white sheets. They remind me of sterile rooms and hospital beds, nurses' gowns and IV drips, doctors' rounds and blood-stained Band-Aids. A 5-foot needle that should only feel like a pinch, a mosquito bite. It'll only hurt for a second, I swear. But the pain still lingers, 16 years and counting. People talk about your strength, your faith, prayer. I just want to yell, stop staring at my scars. He said, wear them like your rosary. I say, wear them like your victory. I can't help it. They are here forever. He or she decided that I should wear these scars instead of tattoos, that I should be the walking sign of the struggle, the war, and the resurrection. Grown at 6 years old, I would spend time helping others and conversating with women at the nurses' station, 30 years my elder. The few friends I did make never made it out of childhood, but then again, we never truly had one. I can't apologize for my history or my serious stares. This is how they made me. But I am listening to the pins dropping and your ego begging for more attention. And I am watching your every move. And I hear your soul talking to me in your shy and distant stories or your close and ignorant ones. We have so much to teach one another. We have so much to learn. And all you have to do to begin this evolution is just say hello. So a little bit about me. I'm a childhood cancer survivor, or as we prefer to call it, cancer crusher. Because as a woman said in the most profound way, it's empowering cancer too much by saying that you survived cancer, and you should speak in a way that you crushed it, you overpowered it. So, like noted before, I was diagnosed with osteosarcoma in 1985 at the age of 6 years old. And I had an extensive battle, let's say, from 1985 to 1990. After a year of treatment and a limb salvage attempt, the osteosarcoma had a recurrence. And as a result of that, I'm currently, and will always be, an above-the-knee amputee. They tried to use limb salvage replacement initially, and I don't know how familiar people are with that, but generally it's not so successful. Essentially what they do is use titanium metal, replace the bone that's infected with a tumor, and try to work with you through extension processes, especially if you're so young, so as you grow, you have to have multiple surgeries to maintain with your height. The challenges with that is scar tissue. A lot of people have a buildup of scar tissue, which ultimately will end them walking with a profound limb. So even though they try to mitigate the fact that they would walk with a limp, it ends up that they actually tend to have a more profound limp because of the scar tissue. It didn't work for me anyway, so I ended up back in the hospital for another year or so, and then it was at that point determined that I would have to have amputation. And that was at 8 years old. Sometimes we have inherent knowledge. I always advise, listen to what you feel. My dad ended up taking me to the emergency room at Jacobi Medical Center in the Bronx, and through CAT scan they were able to see a starburst pattern on the bone. My blood counts were completely haywire, and they knew that they had to admit me in at that point. I thought, damn, this is cool. I'm in the hospital. I've never been to a hospital. This is cool. I'm all grown up. I'm chilling. Didn't have to go to school today. Sweet. Well, little did I know I was going to be 5 years hanging out there, right? So it was like not as sweet as I thought. But I've definitely had the privilege of being treated by some of the best medical facilities in New York State and New Jersey, and I'm thankful for that. I was lucky to have a physician in my family that could advise our family on what practices we should proceed on and where we should not go. Not everybody is so lucky, not everybody is so educated, and I think that's why we're here today, and that's why we do what we do. We publicly speak and try to educate people. I know that you're currently on you're studying the ecology, I guess, curriculum. But I mean, how many of you are actually interested in potentially going into ecology? Oncology or peds or rehabilitation, things of that nature? Can I see a show? Cool. So I guess for me, like the patient perspective is like, I remember I was in college once and there was this guy that I had a huge crush on and I would just listen to anything that he said, but he wanted to be a doctor. So I asked him, really, that's awesome. Why? And I'm out of treatment at this point. You know, I'm in junior college and I'm like, oh, awesome. Well, you know, why do you want to be a doctor? And he's like, because they make a lot of money. And I'm like, okay, interesting. And he's like, yeah, you know, I'm not the type of person that really likes to be around a lot of people. And, you know, my dream house would be a log cabin in the woods, far away from everyone else. And then I just go to the office and treat people and stuff. And so that's probably not going to work out in the medical profession if you want to be, you know, an actual impacting physician. But I just thought it was an interesting story to share. So for me, I guess the reason that I come and I speak is that do it because you have a connection to it. I mean, there are so many types of practices that you can pursue in the medical profession, but do it because it talks to you every day. You know, I mean, I was working in the nonprofit sector before that. I used to work in media. I wanted to be in communications and, you know, produce television commercials and radio and advertising, and I did all that for a little while, and I realized that it didn't really mean much to me. So I changed gears. I completely shifted my focus, and I decided I want to work in the nonprofit sector. I want to, you know, be a change maker. And as a doctor, you're a different type of change maker, but you're still a change maker nonetheless. And the possible dimensions that you could affect are unlimited, assuming that you're willing to do what it needs to take. But also, practice with integrity. You know, lately in my personal life, I've just seen so many people fall victim to a system, a malfunctioning system. And we are all aware of the challenges and the tribulations to the medical world, whether it be insurance practices, whether it be hospitals that don't have a structure or operational malfunction, or overpaid individuals. But you choose every day to get up and live your life the way you want to. And you can either live a life of integrity, or you could follow the leader, so to speak. For me, as a young adult, I think now, you know, I mean, I was diagnosed in 1985. I went into remission in 1990. We're in 2010, coming on in 2011, so I see it very differently. But I'm okay with my experience, and it took a really long time to get to that point. And no one said like, oh, you might have post-traumatic stress like a war victim because, you know, you had trauma to your body for the last 5 years. And then you had emotional trauma to your mind and your soul for the last 20. And no one really thought that that was going to be an issue. You know, no one advised me that I should seek a therapist. I was never given a professional, you know, social worker until maybe I was like 20 years old, you know. So it's all about being an advocate for your patient, being an advocate for yourself. And so that's what, you know, I think is most important. And, you know, take a stand. I think that, you know, in this day and age, they say, oh, you know, we're the next generation, we're gonna make the change, and then, you know, there's people that have doubt on that, but like stake the ground, you know? And so that's what we're here about. We're here about making change. We're here about young adults that got a shitty deck of cards but flipped them. And, you know, we want to create a movement. You know, this is not just about talking about the cancer experience. The cancer experience sucks, no kidding. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, being in the hospital, not having your friends around, no one wants to hang out with you, you're vomiting your brains out. No, that's not fun. But could you make it better? Sure. Could you make it more productive for you long term? Sure. Am I thankful for the things that I learned as a result?
Hell yeah.